Just so you remember, that kind of reminded me a little bit of like a Gil Scott-Heron song with the kind of bongo like production. It was really stripped back, and one of my favorite bars on the on the album, the purest snow we selling white privilege.
And he made
Yeah,
sure to enunciate privilege.
just so you know exactly what he's saying.
Yeah.
That
Let me put you on game.
uh, with that said, let's move into our last topic of the day. Let's move out of basketball and into music, and let's talk about Pusha T. Let's talk about a
Yeah.
rapper that, that we're both really, really familiar with, the king of protective styles and cocaine raps. He's
Mm.
back with another project. It's Almost Dry. If you're not familiar with Pusha T, you should be by this point. He thrust himself into the national spotlight with his beef with Drake and the story of Adidon. He's also, I think, should be better known for his work with the Clips. His solo project thus far necessarily haven't been the biggest commercial debuts, but there's definitely some gold on each of those projects, and he's back with another one. As far as my impressions of the album, I really, really enjoyed it. I think it's a really, really enjoyable listen. There's been a lot of complaints online about Pusha T and how his subject matter can be samey and why hasn't he grown up or changed his sound or changed his subject matter. But when you do it as well as he does it, I don't see a need to. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Mm.
So what did you think about It's Almost Dry?
It's almost dry. It feels like a river that keeps on flowing. So I think it's a contradiction, this title. Much to my pleasure, I've been bumping this project all week. I'm used to boom bap and, samples with clever coke glorifying bars from my man with the yuck. But he really didn't disappoint. And when you have an album that's split with production from Kanye and Pharrell, you got something special. He was engaging, charismatic, and surprised me at several turns with his switch ups and flows and deliveries and aggression. And just this project, I believe, is one for the books, and it's really going to get project of the year consideration, man. Just top to bottom, great project. I can't wait.
That's high. That's high praise. High praise. You've been on your Simon Cowell recently. So for you to give this album that much praise, it's a high bar.
I mean, I've been on my Simon Cowell because I've had to. So this project has been a breath of fresh air, man.
A palate cleanser.
Yes, for real, for real.
Let's get into the track list. Brambleton, I thought, was a great intro. You hear that 4 count and you know it's a Pharrell beat.
Yeah.
His fingerprints are all over this song itself and the album overall. I love the simplicity of it as well. A lot of Clips nostalgia in terms of the sound. A really intriguing song about betrayal. There's a story that came out about him and his former manager in the Vlad TV interview, and him, coming out and addressing that in a really creative way. And then that goes into Let the Smoker Shine the Coops, and man, yeah, that song is hard, unreasonably hard. I love the piano breakdown in the middle, and then he comes back in with that hard hook. If kilograms is the groove, but unsold the golden goose. I got him, baby. I'm Jim Purdue, cocaine, Dr. Seuss. Like, it was just A1. The reference to chickens and Jim Purdue, and then cocaine's Dr. Seuss. I mean, that's not an honorable title, but it's one that's fitting for what his career has been thus far. Just great. Dreaming of the Past with Kanye. I love how it kind of switches up, and you can feel the difference between Kanye and Pharrell's production. Killer sample and the pounding keys. The line where he talked about y'all talking top threes. I'm thinking top me. Award shows are the only way you bitches could rob me. Like, it was just A1 bars all over this project. But how'd you feel about the intro?
I thought the intro was interesting because they actually switched up the track listing for this project, because I listened to it on Monday and Tuesday, and the order of the songs was different. So Brambleton was actually the last track then, but that's neither here nor there. They started off here, and I love the spacey synths, classic Pharrell beat, Push, detailing stories of his past. Just bars like, if the past catch your dash, no erasing. Black Rari, white hood, make it a race thing. Who know our dynasty would end up a J Dame thing? Like, just excellent just usage of imagery and creative flows and lines here, man. Just that your dash erasing, black Rari, white hood, making it a race thing. The way that the lines and the subjects are different, but it rhymes and conceptually ties together. It just he does some, like, you can tell that he's been brewing and sitting on these lyrics for the last 4 years, because it's been 4 years since he dropped his last project, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so you can tell that it's just been slow cooking and marinating, and this is the result. Moving on into Let the Smoke Shine, the Coops, Pharrell with the energy laced instrumental. Pusha T marries it with just excellent flow and timing. The way he goes in and out of the beat was very rhythmic and crisp. And Push referring to himself as the cocaine Dr. Seuss, like, what more can I say? And then Dreaming of the Past, bro, like, this song almost brought me to tears, because the Donny Hathaway sample, the snippet of that Ye chose of that loop, and the flawless execution of Pusha T's flow and how it's timed perfectly with just the sample going in, and him saying I'm dreaming and a beg and just all the stuff, man. And then you factor in the constant wordplay, like, bruh, you is this ain't flexing, you cramping, my weight keep is on bikes like Amblin. And just digging in, he gives you so much to dig into. And then you realize Amblin is the entertainment production company for E.T., and you see the silhouette of Amblin with E.T. And the kid on the bike.
Impressive. Yeah.
Yes. And I love that, because it was interesting hearing the Coi Leray interview in the Breakfast Club. She had a really funny interview, and she spoke, and she was throwing a lot of digs at Charlemagne for him wanting to listen to Pusha T. How that got brought up is neither here nor there, but she was like, why are you listening to all that old rap and stuff like that? And I think to myself, like, man, these kids don't understand how much, like, what we found enjoyable in our generation of trying to dissect these lines and put the pieces together, because Pusha T does a great job of making something sound good, but you not understanding what it is. But then you look into the reference and you're just like blown away because of how creative he is. Just a really A+ song, especially with Ye's nice finishing touch at the end with his verse. Moving on into Neck and Wrist, another excellent Pharrell sample with the high frequency synths on the melody and a patiently well-crafted bass. Summertime Winterfell, I Am the Night King. Like, yes, bro.
Yeah.
More
the Colgate Kilo, the hood needs whitening. Yes.
The beat in the center of that left and right wing, the only time you'll ever see me next to Breitling. The B, that refers to a Bentley. Breitling is a luxury watch brand whose watches go for around 10K a watch. And he's flexing so hard that the only time you'll see me next to one of these $10,000 watches is in my Bentley, because the watches that he got go for hundreds of thousands, if not millions. So I like Jay's verse. I didn't think he brought his A game, but it was nice to hear him. And then moving on into Just So You Remember, Ye did it again. The Colonel bag shot sample on the conga drums of the verses were the perfect platform for Push's aggression that I thought was perfectly paced. His energy was captivating. It was like a motion picture. The needles is sharp, but they ain't shooting insulin. You missing the point. These drums ain't Timberlands. Going into the chorus and the hook, just constant energy, just like impact, line after line. You can tell that not a stitch of this album was not thought of and crafted. And you don't hear just 300 songs and you chose 20 that were decent. You hear like very precise decisions that were made. And then, going into Diet Coke, a single, the ice cold piano melody with the Fat Joe sample and the classic cocaine bars. His aggression was a little tampered down from the previous song, but his delivery and his charisma was palpable, and it created a nice vibe. So what did you think about this stretch?
Yeah, I feel the way you feel about Neck and Wrist for sure. Dope track. Just So You Remember, that kind of reminded me a little bit of like a Gil Scott-Heron song with the kind of bongo-like production. It was really stripped back. And one of my favorite bars on the album, the purest snow, we selling white privilege.
And he made sure to enunciate privilege.
Just so you know exactly what he's saying. Diet Coke, dope song, really cool reference to a classic line off of Hell Hath No Fury, which we reviewed. Go check that out. But I love of course, the mixed in soul samples that are all over this, but particularly here. it works really well with the really hard keys. A solid homage to Missy Elliott, saying Missy was our only misdemeanor. You know,
Yeah.
a fellow Virginia rapper. I thought that was dope as well. Rock and roll, a song that I was a little nervous about once I saw the track list, just because you never know. Which I didn't really like Cudi that much on the Nego project. I thought it was way better use of him here. I like
Yeah.
his chemistry with Kanye. It's unfortunate because of their beef now that we might not get more of this, but I really enjoyed the track overall.
Yeah.
Call My Bluff I thought was okay. I like the beat, but I thought Push's flow was a little bit lazy here, so
Mm.
it kind of gets into this stretch. I like where Call My Bluff and Scrape It Off the Top weren't really my two favorites. Because Scrape It Off the Top is not a bad song necessarily, but it doesn't really fit in the context of the album. It kind of slows the momentum for me. I thought he could have did without these two songs, and I think it would have did the project fine. Um, Hear Me Clearly, we heard already. Super, super dope. No need to retread that. Open Air, I really love that organ and the evil laugh. It kind of sounds like cocaine Dracula. I really love the really subtle addition of the choir on the second half. I thought that was a really nice addition to that as well. And then I Pray For You with Malice and Labyrinth, perfect Clips reunion. We heard them some on Nigo's project, but this felt more like a Clips like reunion to me.
Yeah.
Malice, who I think is going by Malice now, I think he's dropped the no, maybe. I'm not sure.
Maybe.
He sounded
Yeah.
like Malice.
He did.
He sounded really inspired. I Don't Hellcat, Still Paddle When I Shift, Vietnam Flashbacks, I Get Triggered by a Sniff. Today's Top Fives Only Strengthening My Myth, Belong or Rushmore just from chiseling a brick. Like he was just on his Malice. Of course, still bringing his newfound love for God and religion into it, but still letting you know like he's still about that if you're really about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, a really great closer. Nice change of pace on the album. More organs here. I thought there were a lot of organs on the album, and I thought they were most prominent here. Labyrinth did a great job. The track itself sounds really triumphant. Killer verse from Push to Open. Just in case you doubted his commitment to his his lifestyle, he let you know that his son's middle name is Bricks. So
Yeah.
there's no need to question him. But just a really, really, really enjoyable album overall. How did you feel about the closing stretch?
Yeah, I thought Call My Bluff more so towards the middle. I liked it. I understood, maybe why you had qualms about it, but I thought he snapped, especially on the second verse. Because if you don't want to mess with Pusha T, he makes that emphatically and also subtly clear on the song. Calling my bluff, going to answer hello. Service with a smile when I hand out halos. Shot clock shooters, when I point at them, they go. Now everybody's asking what happened. They know. Like he's so like, I love his cleverness. I love his playfulness while being devilishly charming and evil at the same time. Scrape It Off, I kind of felt what you're saying in terms of it not really fitting. I still feel like Uzi and Don Toliver did a good job in their performances, and Pusha, kind of expanding his flow and his musicality. But I get it that this song probably could have been left off. And he was talking about in an interview how they barely just got this song cleared for the album, and maybe they might have been done well if it didn't get cleared. So I feel you on that. But Hear Me Clearly, we spoke about the Nego in the review, and it's just as good. I left my elbow in the pot. A la Vince Carter is still great. And then I looked at this line, and it actually starts to make a little more sense to me. These drug dealer rollies is my TikTok and Triller. So drug dealer rollies, TikTok, this new agey thing, but then that actually being a watch because it ticks and talks. Just real subtle, real clean lines that he has so many of them. Open Air, I thought was really subtle. I like the subtle choir in the background with the wind elements laced throughout the song. Ain't no Tonys in my circles. We Sosa's here. In these 10 crack commandments, I'm the Moses. Yeah, like, bro, I remember him saying how much Biggie inspired him. And I could see that here. And I love that homage and that nod to Biggie. But finally, with this ending song, I Pray For You, it was so good to hear Clips back together. Labyrinth really had a heavenly opening with the intro, and Kanye's production was the perfect person to reunite this group, and I loved it. Yeah, man. And yeah, I echo these sentiments because Pusha, he really named his son Bricks, and you can see the commitment. At first I was like, maybe this is all for show. Maybe he's just really good at like painting a picture. Maybe he was just an observer for a lot of this. But when you name your son Bricks, like you're really taking that next step, to kind of pass that legacy on, because it's a doobie of a legacy.
Yeah.
But then that line, still the X factor, that's the Rohan in me. I didn't get that at first, and then I realized that Rohan Marley is Lauryn Hill's ex-boyfriend and the father of 5 kids, and I had to bow. I was like, yes, Pusha, you just keep coming at me, and I keep digging, and I keep smiling once I find the gold that you left stashed in this project. So great closer and great project overall, man.
Yeah, for sure. I thought it was a really enjoyable listen. I think Push really came with the heat this time. Let's get into the favorite tracks. Let's get 3. I'm gonna go ahead and go with "I Pray for You." "Let the Smoker Shine the Coops." I think that's I think that goes without saying for sure. I think that song is dope. And I'll go Diet Coke.
Ugh, you're killing me, man. I definitely would have liked to have done 4 here. "I Pray for You." I almost didn't put that on my top, but like that's such a good song, man. And "Dreaming of the Past," that sample still brings me to tears when I think about it. And then oh man, I'm waffling between "Rock and Roll" and "Just So You Remember," but give me "Just So You Remember."
All right. So if you had to recommend this to our listeners on a scale of hard pass to must listen, what would you say?
Quality production from top to bottom. Not one miss. I would say, there is one miss, kind of, but still, for most people's standards, this is a good song. Something is interesting was brought to every song, a quotable line in every song. This is what a 3 or 4 year layover should look like for an artist, and it's been one of my favorite projects to listen to in a while, and I'm going to be having it on heavy repeat, especially during the summer months. It's a must listen for me, man, if it wasn't clear before.
Yeah, it was pretty clear. Still gotta get the official rating. It's just gonna miss the "Put You on Game" stamp of approval for me. I'm gonna go highly recommend. I think that there's a couple misses in the middle there, but I think even classic albums have misses. But overall, I think it's a project that I'll return to some, but I don't see it being as heavy on repeat as some other projects that we reviewed over the last month or two. So I think that's just a personal preference. I have no qualms or questions about you saying that it's a must listen. I definitely see the appeal. I think Push is some of his best work lyrically comes on this project. The production is great. There's just something about it that doesn't necessarily scream like top 5 album of the year to me. Maybe it might grow on me some more the more I sit with it, but the more that I talk about it in that way, it's gonna sound like I'm shitting on it, but I'm really not. I think it's a really good project. I really enjoyed it, but that's where I sit with it. But that'll do it for our review of It's Almost Dry. Let us know what you think in the comments about It's Almost Dry, and if you think that it's a must listen, or if you think it's just something that you would highly recommend, or if there's another rating that you would give it. Let us know in the comments and join the conversation. Thanks for checking out this segment of the Put You on Game podcast, where we discuss everything from hoops to hi-hats.
Give us your thoughts on the video in the comment section, and you can also find the full podcast in the link in the description below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content.